All right, if you just showed up, we're going to get started in about 1 more minute. Whoops. All right, we are at 2:30. How are you feeling, Miss Martinez? Do you feeling ready, or do you think we should wait another minute?
I am ready. It's not, unfortunately, the camera is just not going to work right now. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That is all right.
Maybe
We are glad you're here regardless of camera. Right. I'm going to keep an eye on the admit area. Do you, well, maybe I'll just start with welcome, students. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. We have Miss Martinez with us, and she is an illustrator and digital artist, and we are starting our question and answer session right now. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit about her work and go through the 2 slides that we have with her work, and then I will have the student who is on each slide as the reader start reading questions, and then she can answer. All right. I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. So just a quick introduction. My name is Brenda Martinez. I go by Miss Martinez because I'm also a teacher in the Salem-Keizer School District. I teach elementary school. On my days off and on my free time, I like to illustrate. I've been illustrating for many years, probably started when I was about 10 is when I got a little more serious about drawing. I did have some breaks in my lifetime. I've had a couple of just years where I didn't get so much art done because of reasons. Right, because of reasons.
Because of reasons.
Yeah, life happens, right? And yeah, I've taken a lot of classes, actually. I've taken college level classes. In high school, I was very lucky to go to a very artistic or art promoting high school where I was able to take many classes in many medias. So I know the basics of a lot of mediums. For fun, I took many classes in college, university for art, even though technically I do not have my art degree yet. I do wish to go back in the future and get it. Even though I have gone to college for this, my favorite style is anime/manga style. I do like to blend a little bit of the shonen, if you know what that is. I blend in the shonen style a little bit with the Marvel look. But yeah, that is
awesome.
I talked fast, sorry.
No, I love it. Okay, would you like me to go to the next slide?
Sure.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, some samples of my work. So both are samples of my work. I have quite a few OCs. OC stands for original character. The OCs that you see are probably the 2 main ones that I'm going to publish a comic for, or rather a manga. And I like to venture in different styles, right? So right now Among Us is becoming really popular. So I doodled Among Us Sona because that seems to be a thing right now in the art community. So you can see the different styles where I was just, kind of following the super simple Among Us characters down to where the actual character looks like. So I don't know, have fun.
I love this because it looks like there's a progression, but they all have the same color scheme, so they're definitely connected.
Oh yeah, like artistically.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all my OCs do have a color palette that I follow, so it's iconic enough that you'll be able to recognize them eventually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So we split our questions into 4 different kinds of questions, and the first kind of question is called a process question. And I
Mhm.
know that a lot of you know that because we did that in class. So is Emery with us? Is Emery here right now? Is Emery willing to read? If not, I can read, or I can ask if another student is willing to read. All right, no Emery. Do I have, if you feel like you would like to read some of these questions, if you want to chat, send a message to me in the chat. Otherwise, I can read them. Ian, I would love for you to read some of those questions if you're willing.
So my first question is, do you hand draw all your art, or do you sometimes use it on a computer? Sorry, or do you sometimes draw on computers?
So Ian, I'm going to pause you for a second. Remember how we came up with the questions all together?
Yes.
Yes. Can you see slide 1 right, or the process questions?
Yes.
So your question is in here that you're asking, but let's go ahead and ask the questions that are on the slide so we make sure everybody's questions get asked. Does that work for you?
Okay.
It's fine. I'll get to that one. I promise. I thought about it already. But what is the first question?
Ian, are you willing to read that first question? Uh-oh, did I lose you?
I did hear a little bit of lag.
So Ian, these are questions for everybody to hear the answer to. So I will jump in and read those if you feel like you already know the first one. So the first question is, what is the Ghastly and Vileplume Pokemon and what is it called? We have one student who is very passionate about this question.
Ooh, awesome. Yeah, Pokemon definitely like was a very influential anime for me slash video game slash game. So yes, I get it. Like I haven't played the newest one, but I still play them often. Um, so the Vileplume, the Vileplume slash Gloom fusion is a fake mon. It's not real. Sometimes for exercises, just drawing warm-ups, I use a Pokemon Fusion generator online. You can just Google that, right? Like Pokemon Fusion generator. And I just hit the random button and I draw whatever it comes up with. Um, they used to be super popular like 7 years ago, something like that. It's died down a bit, but you still find artists that like doing that. So once in a while, I'll draw Pokemon fusions that are not real yet. Maybe one day we'll get them.
That is awesome. And we have a student who's very excited about that. So thank
Yeah,
you
you
for
should
sharing
try
that.
it.
I will. Were there any specific ways that you learned art that might have been different than just practicing?
So I actually thought quite a bit about this question, right? Because the only way to really learn art is to do it. But I learned art in a way where I would look at art that I like, and then I would become inspired and try to emulate it. I never really traced somebody else's like artwork. Um, I was very adamant about not doing that, even though it can be a tool. You have to be careful how you use that when you're using somebody else's work. But be that as it may, I practiced a lot and I just look at art. I get inspired by art. Sometimes I try to emulate or kind of like copy what I like about the art. You have to be careful though, because practice makes better. But if you practice bad habits, you get really, really good at those bad habits. And that's why practicing traditional art, even though you might not be drawing the anime characters that you love and enjoy, it's still important, right? So even though I am an anime artist, a manga artist, I still draw real people all the time because that's the only way that I practice good habits and become stronger. So practice good habits, I guess, is a good way to do it.
Thank you for sharing that. And when I read that question too, I was thinking a little bit about, art school, or like you said, not only do you practice, but like you practice different kinds of skills. And then I was thinking too, have you like asked for or received feedback from people that was helpful to your art other than just practicing?
Oh yeah, these are really, really good points. Thank you for bringing them up. So art school, you can become a professional paid artist, right? And work for like Riot, work for Wizards of the Coast, work for, Pixar, Disney. Um, if you don't have to go to school because your portfolio will speak for you. But what school will teach you, right? And this is why school can be a really, really good thing, a really good tool, is because they will teach you those really good habits, right? And they will keep you on track, and they will give you that feedback so you can get stronger, right? So you'll get a professional telling you like, this is good because next time you can try this, and that way you're stronger. You become stronger, like better at your craft or what you do. Asking for feedback online can be very challenging because we've all been on the internet. There's lots of trolls, lots of people that are just out there to, make some really hurtful choices. So it becomes really hard to get meaningful feedback. I would say there are communities though that are a little bit safer, and specific artists that, if you have somebody that you really, really like online, some of these people, if you reach out, they're willing to give you feedback. Like on Instagram, again, with like parent permission and with like safety in mind, right? You don't want to just talk to strangers. But yeah, and like teachers, right? We're here to give you feedback. Sometimes you won't hear what you want to hear, but that's good too, because you don't want to stay where you don't become better and stronger, right? Like nobody's perfect. And that's a good thing because then we can get better.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, what is your least favorite way to make art, be it acrylics, oil paints, digital art, watercolors, pastels, or even charcoals?
Oh boy, so that's another one I thought about. Pastels. I don't like pastels because I'm weak. I am weak in that medium. I don't practice it, therefore I'm not very strong with it, and I have a hard time manipulating it, like making it do what I want it to do. Plus it's super messy, so then I have panic because it's getting everywhere, and it's just explosions. It's chaos. I would rather use paint any day, any of the paints. And even charcoal, like I've done big D&D, so like Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like character posters in charcoal, and that's fun. I've done, Pokemon portraits in charcoal, and that was fun too. It's just not pastel. Oh god, not
It's
pastel.
fair. That's good. It's good information. I feel like I'm learning a lot about you. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Are there
These are really good
challenges?
questions.
They are. Are there challenges that you face with drawing certain body parts?
So I struggle with drawing legs.
Mm.
I love drawing hands. Like hands are not a struggle for me most of the time. Faces, like I'm currently working on a commission right now as we're talking, and like faces are, they're fine. It's fun. Legs, for some reason, just they escape me. And like I do leg studies once in a while, and still like I'm learning a lot. I'm still learning a lot with that body part.
That's good to know.
Right? They seem so simple, and yet.
Do you ever take inspiration from other characters or works and I have to move my chat, that you know?
Ooh, I love this question. I take inspiration from everywhere. Like I watch anime pretty regularly for the story and for the art. I play games, right? I play, um, JRPGs. I play online games with my friends, and all that art, right? I I immerse myself in it. My Instagram is entirely art accounts. Like I don't watch people, I don't follow people for anything else besides their art. So I live it, I breathe it, and I see what I like, and then I try to learn from them.
With the exception of my chick Instagram.
That's art too. Your chickens are art. And they inspire in different ways.
It's true.
But yeah, like I actually have a picture of it. I have a gigantic collection of Japanese art books. They're a little expensive, so like I buy one at a time or two when I really want to treat myself. I have a wall of them, right? And they're from all sorts of work, like anime, video games, manga series, you name it. And when I really am like lacking that inspiration and feeling an art block, I just pick one of them up and draw from that.
Awesome.
And yeah, I took a picture of it in case I see it.
Are you able to share? Do you want to share your screen?
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Should I stop sharing for a second? And then...
yeah, if you want. Let's see. Share screen. Screen 2. Okay, what's up? I'm working on a commission at the moment.
It's gorgeous.
Right. Give me just a moment.
Oh my God, I love
it. I hear the excitement. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a commission for a friend.
I can't see it, so it's unknown.
Unknown? You know what? I'll let your imagination decide. All right, so should be in here. Give me just a second. Where is it? There it is. So, I have this entire like collection of these are all art books that are full of art. And again, when I'm feeling really lost, I try to pick one of them up and look through it and find something I like. I look at the composition, I look at the characters and the colors. I'm like, okay, I can do something like this. And just insert something I enjoy.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Right. So let me get back to our questions.
Thank you so much for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you. We got to see some more of your work. Let me make sure I have the chat up. There we go. Do you do other drawings other than anime?
I do. I do pet portraits, which people send me pictures of their pets, and I draw them. What else do I do? I do figure drawing. I do have a couple examples of that as well. I took a picture of 2 of my figure drawing pictures just so you get an idea of like, you have to do this in order to become better at that, at like anime, right? Let me think.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to do a finished drawing?
It depends on the extent of it and how detailed I want. Some of them I have to work on it for weeks before I finish it. Probably a total of about 20 hours to 30 hours. Some of them I finish them in like 30 to 20 minutes. Like the doodle from Among Us, that's like a 30-minute doodle.
Nice. So a big range, but up to 30 hours on a piece.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
really good for the students to hear that, you know, a lot of time and effort can go into one piece.
Yeah, like I have a couple that I can show that took quite a bit of time. But yes, some of them you have to stick with it for a while.
Do you have an art studio where you make your work?
I do. It's downstairs in the building I live at. And it's a great space. I love it.
Awesome. Do you hand draw all of your art or do you use computer? If you use a computer, what is your favorite drawing program / app?
I do both. My preferred method is hand drawing things because I don't know, I just like the traditional art and it has a special feeling for me. I do quite a bit of digital I do quite a bit of both, where I do traditional and then put it on the computer and, make it digital. Most of my work, I use Photoshop. If I could go back in time, I would probably not use Photoshop because I don't like the program very much, admittedly. I use Paint Tool SAI. I've used Photoshop. I've used Sketchbook Pro. I use Clip Studio, and they're all pretty good programs.
Awesome.
So you can use any of them.
All right, we are moving on to purpose questions, and our reader who signed up was Colby. Colby, do you want to jump in and ask some of these questions?
Sure. The first one says, when did you decide you wanted to be an artist?
I was about 10 when I chose to really start doodling and drawing a lot more.
Have you ever wanted to quit art and try something else in the past, but you decided otherwise?
Yes, I've had moments where I was very frustrated with my art and I felt like I shouldn't continue because of, whatever reason I was going through. But I stuck it through, so yay for that.
We are all grateful because you're adding beauty to the world.
Thank you.
What is your inspiration to make this type of art?
At this moment, it's changed throughout time, my inspiration, and my need to make the art. Recently, it's my original characters and my need to publish a manga series one day.
What made you want to be an artist and why?
I think it's just wanting to be creative. And having these ideas in my head of characters and universes and stories and not being able to get them out, right? So when you draw, you can get those stories out to the world and share them with people. And then you find friends that also have stories that they want to share and characters and all that stuff. And I don't know, it just becomes a community.
I love that.
Yeah.
What is your inspiration to make this type of art?
What is my inspiration to? Again, other artists that I see that are really strong at sharing their stories with this art medium. Myself, my friends that are really good at telling stories. And again, just I'm inspired by all the anime out there that I've watched that I'm like, I need to put mine out there too one day.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been creating art?
Oh boy, 20 years? About 20 years, yeah. Long time.
What motivates you to draw your characters?
The need to share them with the world. Again, you get an idea with your character and then you think, wow, I really want to share this with everybody because I think that's a really silly idea, or it's funny, or it's cool. And, that helps you create and put them out there.
Why did you choose this style of art?
It really resonated with me. I like the aesthetics. I like the look of it. I think the color, the form, the way people look, it's a lot of fun. I like it better than some of the more American art styles.
And you just used a bunch of art vocabulary words, so I'm extra excited about that.
Yay!
What type of art styles do you know and like the best? I see lots of people in armor. What other things do you like to create? Do you make other more casual characters that are not fighty?
All right, so let me break that one up. which types of art styles do you know and you like the best? So my probably again the most experience I have is with like anime and manga, more specifically like shonen art styles. That's why everything looks combat ready. I don't do much of the shoujo, which is the more like drama, girl driven protagonist type stories. I do love to draw armor. I do love to draw monsters and creatures, which I don't have many of those up, but I do love to do those. I do make casual characters. Sometimes they don't always wear their armor. Sometimes I just like to draw them in a t-shirt and jeans and just, I don't know, sitting around the couch. Like sometimes I do that too. So yeah. I like to explore different things. Good question.
What is the point and purpose of your art?
The point of my art is to share my characters a lot of the time. Unless I'm getting commissioned by someone, then the point of the art is to have somebody share a vision through my work. And the purpose of my art is to share my creativity and, have an impact, like make somebody feel, go through the adventures that I'm going to publish one day. So essentially I will share an adventure and hopefully people will go on that adventure.
What does your art do for you?
It brings me joy.
I love that.
Like
It
Mary,
brings everyone joy.
right?
That's awesome.
Like Mary Kondo, it brings me joy.
Great.
It really does. Like if I don't do art in a while, it actually starts to like mentally hurt. Like I feel it like a pressure in my chest if I don't do art in a couple days. So like I have to sketch, even if it's something small. Something every day.
Colby, you did a really great job asking questions. Fabulous job.
Thank you.
And you did a great job answering questions, Miss Martinez.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Brady, are you with us? Oh, I think earlier I thought it was Brody, but I think it's Brady. Sorry. Brody, if you want to read too, but is Brady here with us?
Joseph Alves. Who's Joseph Alves?
No idea.
Alves?
Okay.
It's Alves,
Students?
not Alves.
Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, we're gonna, unless your name is Brady, or unless you are willing to read, please make sure that you are muted. Do we have somebody that's willing to read our experience questions?
Sure, I will.
Awesome, Ian. Thank you. Go for it.
How long have you been practicing?
If I put all the years together, well, I've been drawing since like I was 10-ish, so about 20 years.
Mhm.
And
How
I
long-
practice. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What did you do to experience with your art?
Let me see.
I said right, correct? Yes, I.
It's a little strangely worded, huh? What did
Yeah.
you do to experience with your art? Maybe we'll come back to that question, and then if that question's not answered by the time we get through it, it'll make more sense.
Yeah.
Did anime inspire you?
Yes, anime
You to
inspired.
draw?
Yes, it did. When I was super
Like-
young, I watched Dragon Ball, a lot of Dragon Ball when I was young. Actually, Dragon Ball Z, technically. Then I watched many other animes from like Yu-Gi-Oh! To something called Trigun, and a lot. I've watched a lot. And the kind of art stuff, the art of anime plus the way they tell stories was my jam. Like it really called out to me. So yes.
How often do you practice? Oh boy.
Every day. I try to do it every day, about 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes way longer than that though.
We have a side question real quick of if you also
Mhm.
watch Attack on Titan.
I have watched Attack on Titan. I watched all of it, and I'm also reading the manga. Yes. So the answer is yes.
And sorry, one more side question. Have you seen The Seven Deadly Sins on Netflix?
I started watching it. I'm not caught up yet though. But yes,
there's a season 4 now.
Hey, I like, what was it, Vaughn? I think it was funny.
So you're on question 6, Ian.
Yes. What is the hardest thing you have drawn?
Ooh, the most challenging thing I have drawn is probably people, realistic people. So when I have to do an actual portrait of a person that's not in anime style, but like in real life, I have to really slow down and like really think about what I'm doing before I tackle that project. Yeah, I can do it.
How am I?
It's hard.
Why is there questions?
Yeah, there's some repeated questions. Sorry.
That's okay.
We
can go on to the next question because you've already answered that a couple times.
How did you get into the style of? How did you get into the styles of art that you like?
I watched Dragon Ball Z. I really liked the style. After some time, I made up my own style. That's still like anime manga, but it's not Akira Toriyama style, who's the person that published the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But definitely like watching big fighty animes like inspired me a lot, and that's where I started. A lot of Dragon Ball drawings.
How did you get so good at making art?
Practice. Looking at references.
Practice
I know you're like, yeah, you're gonna hear that, but really it's like perfect practice makes better, right? So again, if you practice bad habits, you're gonna get really good at those bad habits. So using references, like looking up pictures of stuff, using that to draw. When you're confused about how something works, like looking it up, there's a million gajillion tutorials. Be careful though, because some of them are misleading. But yeah, just doing it. Just do it.
Where is your art published?
Let's see. I have had a couple magazines publish my art. It's been a while though, so I don't remember. I do have an Instagram. I have a Twitter, a Tumblr. Sometimes I put stuff on Reddit. So it's everywhere on the interwebs. It's actually internet, but you know.
And final one. What is the biggest art project you have ever done?
The biggest art project? Probably a commissioned painting of Pokemon team. So I had to do 6 Pokemon and a person, and that one took me a little while. I do not remember the team very well, admittedly, but it was a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I like those though. That was a good one. I like drawing Pokemon.
I already have drawn a bunch of Pokemon.
Nice.
Great job reading, Ian. Fabulous job. Ruby, are you with us? Okay, is there anyone else that wants to read, or I can read these last ones? Joseph, go for it.
Yay.
What is your plan in the future?
My plan in the future is to publish a 7-book manga series. Very shonen though. It's going to be lots of fighting.
In the future, do you plan to write a graphic novel?
Yes. Not American
7
style.
of them.
Yeah. The first one is going to be 7, and hopefully the second series, like the season 2, I guess, is also going to be 7 books. So we'll see. But not an American one.
In the future, will you still be doing anime, or would you like to do other art?
Knowing me, I'll just stick with the art style that I've been practicing, which is this anime art style that I've come to love.
What is your main style of anime art? Will you be using that in the future or try a new style?
I'm always willing to try different styles for like art challenges, like Inktober's coming up, and I'll definitely be participating in that. Which I don't usually use traditional ink, so that'll be interesting. But I will definitely be sticking with my shonen style.
Do you think that you will incorporate art into lives of children in your future?
Yes. I like using it as a reward system for my students. I like using it to decorate my classroom a little bit. And I hope to make at least a version of my manga that's kid appropriate. So there's that.
Can I pause you for just a sec?
Yeah.
This is our last slide, and I had a request that somebody else read. Joseph, do you mind if I have somebody read the second half of the slide?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Joseph. I really appreciate that. Tech, do you want to read those last 4 questions? Or 5 questions? No, 4 questions. Tech, are you able to unmute and ask those 4 questions? Let me see if I can find you on the participant one and see if I can unmute you. Okay, so the request has been rescinded. So Joseph, if you want to do the rest of those ones, that's fine.
What is your plan for the future and how far do you think you will go with your art?
Well, I mean, long term, I hope to do art for the rest of my life. So I'm probably gonna die with a pencil in my hand, and I would be happy if that happens. Now, long term,
You're very old.
Yes, and even more wrinkly. But really long term, I really want to publish my manga series. That way, my OCs are out there in the world, and I've published my work, and I'm good. I will feel fulfilled. Yeah.
Would you make an art studio for yourself in the future?
I already have an art studio. I'm very lucky to be able to have an art studio at the moment. That's where I sit down and I work on a bunch of more serious projects. And I hope to have an art studio for many, many years because I really like having it.
Do you have plans to use your art in new ways in the future?
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting into magazines again. Like I haven't done that. Although they're digital magazines now, which is totally fine. So that'd be neat to get published that way. So I'll be looking into that.
Do you want to abstract art in the future?
I don't. Admittedly, I would need to study more about abstract art in order for me to publish or in order for me to feel comfortable creating it. Because it is very different than what I currently understand. Although, why not try it, right? There's nothing wrong with trying it.
So I've had a couple added questions in the chat just to wrap up. One was, do you ever do cosplay?
I did cosplay at anime conventions when I was younger. I haven't cosplayed in a while though. Good question. That's also a form of art.
Another one was, would you like to tell us some of your original character names?
Sure. The blonde character at the beginning is called Jamian, and he goes by Jay. He has 2 brothers, Alex and James. And then the purple one, that's Damien, and sometimes I just call him D because he's so similar in name to Jay. And those are going to be the main characters of the story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another one was Do you do commissions, and can the students hire you?
I can do commissions. I mean, that's what I'm working on right now, was a commission. As I'm talking to you. I will not take students' money though. I don't believe in that, but Ms. Helbling can do a raffle or some sort of point system, and whoever wins
Ooh,
can commission me.
this is the best day ever. Do you guys hear that? So if you guys, we could come up with a way for someone to win a commission from Miss Martinez.
Yeah, you come up with like, I don't know, some sort of point system or merit system. You could do like first place, second place, and third place.
Well, here's a fun question. Have you ever made yourself as an anime character?
I have, although it's very silly and it's more of a chibi than an actual like full fleshed out character.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's more of a chibi than anything else. Very tired looking chibi. Anyway, yes.
Aviel, did you want to ask a question? I see your hand. Did you want to ask a question? Okay, go for it. You can ask your question.
Oh no, the lag.
I know.
Can they type it?
Yeah, Aviel. Aviel, are you able to type it in the chat?
Because we might be lagging to them too, which is really sad because I want to hear them. Aww.
I know. So Michaela, we're going to wrap up within the next 5 minutes because we're not going to go over a 45-minute meeting. We're going to make sure that we're wrapping it up. Is there anything else that you want to share, Ms. Martinez, after hearing a lot of these questions?
Oh man, I thought about it and then I didn't write it down, so I forgot. Do art. That's the only way you'll get better at it. Be open to feedback. That's really important to get better in anything, really. Draw what you love. And sometimes you're gonna have to draw, but you're gonna have to draw shoes sometimes, and then you're gonna draw shoes again, and then you're gonna draw shoes again. And believe it or not, that's actually, even if your art teacher asks you to draw something that's not what you love, still making you stronger. Like I was really lucky to have a very strict high school art teacher that made us draw a lot of things that when I was younger, I was like, oh, this is dumb. Because, I was young, I didn't know any better. But he more or less forced us to do it. And because of what he did, I'm a better artist because of it. I look back and I'm like, yep, he knew what he was doing. So yes, sometimes having to draw a potted plant seems like it's not a lot of fun because you're not drawing, your favorite character or your OC, but it's important because you have to learn how to draw life before you can change that into whatever you want. You gotta learn the rules before you can bend the rules or break them.
Exactly. I love it. We have one final question, which is, do you like Naruto?
I love Naruto. I watched Naruto when it first came out. I watched Shippuden, and I'm not caught up with Boruto though. So I'm very behind on Boruto at the moment.
Oh, sorry, and I missed another question. Do you ever illustrate prehistoric or Cenozoic animals?
I do. I've done that in the past. Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, it's also prehistoric art. Or critters, I should say.
So. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us. My face hurts because I've just been smiling this whole time, just hearing you talk about art and like how
I love it.
I know that students are excited about it.
Did Aviel ask their question or his question?
That was about Naruto.
Oh yes, big Naruto fan. Love it. Love it. I actually made keychains. Naruto keychains and charms. You saw them, right? When you went to
I did. And I remember we had that conversation because you were like, I don't know if you would like Naruto because it's just like fighting monsters over and over again. And I was like, well, that's what 15 seasons of Supernatural is.
That's true. That's true. But yes, this has been amazing. It's good to see so many humans that are interested in art, and hopefully you get to do it.
Absolutely. And thank you for like kicking off our whole quarter too, being our first guest artist and really making this a wonderful experience. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And thank you, students, for being professional and inquisitive and fabulous. And I'm recording this, so then I'll make it available for you guys to watch again if you want to watch it again, if you missed one of the answers or things were laggy or anything.
Yay. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope everybody has an amazing day.
Yeah, students, could you unmute your mics real quick and just say thank you? And I think I have an option.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to turn your video on and just wave to Miss Martinez to say goodbye so she knows you exist and that you're real.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Hi.
I know. Look at all their little faces.
Oh, that's my favorite part of the day in my classroom. I'm like, you showed your face. You felt safe.
Oh, and yes, I'm seeing some drawings.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
This is my first attempt at anime.
I love it. I love it. Your second attempt would be even better.
I drew this a long time ago. I think I need to improve on the sweater, honestly.
Save that drawing so every year you can look back at it and say, wow, I've gotten so much stronger.
All right, everybody. I'm going to end our
awesome.
meeting so she can go have the rest of her day. You guys, awesome. Miss Martinez,
Oh,
thank you again.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
We might have to win a critique session with you so people can show you their work.
I would love to see that.
Awesome. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Bye.